Well, did you think I wasn't going to show up today? I almost didn't. It's Merry Christmas morning, or Christmas Eve morning, everyone. I'm running a little behind schedule today. I just got back from my walk, and we're having a little problem with the neighbor. Okay, today we're still reading from the Book of Ordinary Oracles, and we're on. Yesterday we did the Mark Twain Oracle, and the today is sort of like the Mark Twain Oracle Part 2, only it's William Shakespeare. It's chapter 11. And what is our Christmas Eve morning oracle for the day? Please, Oracle, give me some advice for my sanity today. My advice is it says, maybe you're already on top of the heap. Okay, the Shakespeare Oracle, chapter 11. The epigram is from Shakespeare's The Tempest. Some oracle must rectify our knowledge. Prospero says that. We often hear it said that the teacher learns far more from the student than the student learns from the teacher. This is certainly true in the case of the next oracle. 1 week after I unveiled the Mark Twain Oracle to our students, one of them, Miss Ann Quinn, came to class armed with an original oracle that works along similar lines, but speaks with the words of William Shakespeare's most magical play, The Tempest. Moreover, this student outdid us all by remembering the all-important fourth secret every fortune teller must know and understand. The oracle is a superior intelligence. She created, in Shakespeare's own words, a most profound and dramatic prologue and epilogue to the consultation process itself. These added touches ingeniously succeeded in putting us all in the mood to receive wise and witty answers to our questions from one of the most demonstrably superior intelligences who ever put pen to paper, the immortal bard himself. Miss Quinn has graciously allowed me to present her inspired oracle in this book, but make no mistake, even though a book of Shakespeare's plays may be an ordinary item in many homes, this marvelous oracle is a most extraordinary treasure. It's a pleasure too. Shakespeare's Tempest is a play about a magician, Prospero, who uses his art and wisdom to manifest a good ending for all of the characters in the play. Prospero commands spirits, invokes and banishes, and works his will through his magic. It is an ideal text to use for an oracle. Anne chose 36 quotes from The Tempest as oracular answers. These she hand-wrote in silver ink on one side of 36 cards made of dark blue paper. On the other side of each card she wrote 2 striking quotations from the play. Quote, What seest thou else in the dark backward in abysm of time? That's one quote. What seest thou else in the dark backward in abysm of time? And the second quote, some oracle must rectify our answer. Some oracle must rectify our knowledge. These words actually seem to suggest that Shakespeare intended us to come to him through his marvelous poetry for insight as well as for divination. What follows is the text of the opening to the oracle, or the opening ritual to the oracle. Anne is a very talented and beautiful flamenco dancer, and she accompanied these words with the most dramatic movements and gestures of her hands and feet. She started by standing in the center of the room and facing east toward Stratford-on-Avon, of course. And here's how she said it. She held her hands to her finger to her lips like this, swept them. No tongue, all eyes, be silent. All hail, great master, grave sir, hail. I come to answer thy best pleasure, be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride the curled cloud, to tread the ooze of the dark deep, salt deep, to ride on the sharp wind of the north, to do me business in the veins of the earth. Come forth, I say, come. What seest thou else in the dark backward in abysm of time? Some oracle must rectify our knowledge. And if you think that didn't blow the mind of the class that night when she did that, you could hear a pin drop. Then she spread out the 36 oracular cards face down in a fan on the floor. Each class member then came forward, selected a card at random, and read it silently. When we all had selected our cards, Anne ended the consultation and sent Shakespeare on his way, the banishing. Again, her words were accompanied by the most beautiful and dramatic gestures. Here cease more questions. Our revels are now ended. These, our actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits and are melted into air, into thin air. We are such stuff as dreams are made of. And our little life is rounded with a sleep. Then to the elements be free, no tongue, all eyes, be silent. When she finished and took her seat, we all sat absolutely silent in stunned awe. Everyone started talking at once, sharing the answers they'd received. One class member was confronted about a concern she was not inclined to share with class. The bard had answered, "By this good light, this is a very shallow monster." Another asked whether or not they should confront an incompetent superior. The answer was, "Use your authority. If you cannot, give thanks you have lived so long." As often happens with any oracle, not everyone received an answer that was understandable at the time. The poor soul who got, "Bite him to death, bite him to death, I prithee," asked another, asked to draw another card. So in other words, a poor person at class that got the answer, "Bite him to death, I prithee," asked if he could draw another one. My answer, of course, was rude and soft. My question was rude and sophomoric. I asked, who really wrote the Shakespeare plays? William Shakespeare or Sir Francis Bacon? My answer put me soundly in my place. Here's what my answer was. I do smell all horse piss, at which my nose is in great indignation. I impudently selected another card that read, "At this time I will tell no tales." So that was the answer to Shakespeare. Here are the 36 possible answers, which, if you wish to use this oracle, you'll want to transfer to cards as Anne did. And whether you want to hear them or not, here they are. Keep to your cabins. You do assist the storm. Use your authority. If you cannot, give thanks you have lived so long. Be collected. No more amazement. I tell your piteous heart, there's no harm done. Be of comfort. Thou shalt be as free as mountain winds. Be merry. You have cause for joy, for our escape is much beyond our loss. You rub the sore when you should bring the plaster. Go to, away. Hence and bestow your luggage where you found it. My strong imagination sees a crown dropping upon your head. Thou lettest thy fortune sleep. Oh, out of that no hope, what great hope have you? Oh, that you bore in mind that I do. What a sleep were this for your advancement? While you here do snoring lie, open-eyed conspiracy his time doth take. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. This is a very scurvy tune. This will shake your shaking. You cannot tell who's your friend. By this good light, this is a very shallow monster. Some kinds of baseness are nobly undergone, and most poor matters point to rich ends. All the more it seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. But you'll lie like dogs, and yet say nothing neither. Biting to death, I prithee. Thou shalt be lord of it. be not afeared. Here's a maze trod indeed through forthrights and meanders. Wow. Oh, excuse me. All thy vexations were but trials of thy love, and thou hast strangely stood the test. Thou liest. Well done. Avoid no more. And here's mine. I do smell all horse piss, at which my nose is in great indignation. Let them be hunted soundly. At this time I will tell no tales. I prophesied, if a gallows were on land, this fellow could not drown. I'll deliver all, and promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, and sail so expeditious. My master through his art foresees the danger thou art in. And the final one is, work not so hard. So that's the Shakespeare Oracle, and it's great fun, and as all true oracles, it can be disturbingly on point. Tomorrow we'll pick up, tomorrow's Christmas Day, but we'll still be here on Christmas Day. If we're all lucky, anyway. And tomorrow we'll do chapter 12, where we'll talk about the pendulum. That's it for Christmas Eve. Everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.